Hello. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Claire Powell. I'm the Virtual Education USA Advisor with the Education USA program based at the US Mission or Embassy to South Africa. Our presentation today is the third in a series of webinars aimed at Education USA scholars and Opportunity Fund students. We will be concentrating today on writing admission essays with regards to both undergraduate and graduate level studies. I haven't seen too many people join as yet, but I'm going to continue and we'll be sure to be recording this video for students that may be joining or unable to join today. So with regards to university essays, they can be quite different when it comes to undergraduate and graduate level studies. What I would say is with regards to these essays, your undergraduate essay is, in terms of admission, is very personal. You have a little bit more leeway with being quite broad with what you're hoping to pursue. Where with the graduate statement of purpose, if you will, is a bit more focused in regards to what you want to study, why you want to study the field of study, and why, not why, but where do you see yourself going with it in the future. So just something to be aware of. With regards to both of them, though, essentially there's two questions you should be asking of yourself. So that's a pretty good item to be aware of, and that is why do you want to study at a particular university, and why should that university want you to study there? Okay, so that's just something to be aware of. Okay. With regards to studying, or and kind of putting in brainstorming this whole essay, it's important that you would need to empathize with the readers. And with regards to that, essentially what that would be is you are going to be understanding that a majority of them are American. They will be educated, and they will be tired of reading essays. Many times, what is important to understand is that these essay readers or application readers will be having a 1-minute skim over your essays, and you really want to make sure that you're catching their attention with regards to the essay. What do you want to accomplish with your essay? I think that is quite an essential piece to be aware of, and I think it's important for you, before you start putting pen to paper, to spend a bit of time brainstorming how you want to portray yourself in this writing. So with undergraduates, what do you feel is not being spoken about or obvious about yourself with regards to the actual application? Is there a piece missing that you feel like the admission committee really needs to be aware of? Do you feel like it's important that you are able to kind of get your points across, and how do I say this? Really make sure that an untold story or a more personal side of your essay is being said besides all the quantitative pieces of the sorry, I don't know what's going on there. Being kind of spoken in regards to your personal essays. Does it help that it's providing more pieces of the puzzle that is not being noted with regards to the questions or your marks or your recommendations? Okay. So what are some typical questions for undergraduate applications? So these are typical questions that would be asked of you in your application, and you would have to write your essay based on this. And what's really important about all essays, whether it be your undergraduate admission essay or whether it be a statement of purpose, you need to answer the question that is being asked of you. So what is your favorite or least favorite book and why? What do you think has been the most important social political movement of the 20th century? And besides the computer, what technological development has had the greatest impact on human society? Okay, so these are typical questions that you would find. You can see they can be quite broad, and it's really left up to you as the applicant or the writer to really make your personality shine through with it, but also make sure that the message across is why would you fit the university, and why they need to have you. Okay. So based on that, again, re-emphasizing, the real question is what does this mean to you? Why is it important to you? And how do you actually feel about it? Use the typo there. So the purpose of an undergraduate essay, as I noted before, is that your mark sheets, your test scores, your extracurricular activities, and your recommendations are actual facts about you. An essay reveals more about who you really are in a fresh and unpretentious way. So it's an opportunity for kind of your voice to be known. And my tip and advice with regards to undergraduate essays is that if you were to throw that essay with no name on it in the middle of your school your school's hallway, you would be able to, well, a stranger would be able to pick it up and read it and know exactly who they need to hand it into. So when I am reviewing essays, I always look and see if there's an authentic voice of the student that I have been working with and that I've been helping, so that I can be sure that that student is getting all the right attention, per se. So that's just something to be aware of. What's important in the graduate essay? Well, essentially, what would be important in the undergraduate essay is into the graduate essay is to explain your academic and your career goals, as I noted before, knowledge of the academic program and the reason you have chosen it. On the other side of it, indication of your intellectual curiosity, motivation, persistence, and earnestness of your academic pursuits. So you would need to write individualized statements for different programs, focusing upon their uniqueness. So when you're looking at graduate statements of purpose, they are going to be unique to the institution or the program that you apply to, because not one is like the other. One may be more theoretical in its outlook, another one may be more, how do I say this, would be more practical. So you need to be aware of that. Further tips for graduate applicants: thoroughly research to find out the appropriate academic programs and whether the research that they have been undertaking is, that there's synergy with regards to what you are looking to pursue in research. Investigate the specifics of each of the programs and be familiar with the faculty and their research and or focus of interest, because in most cases you are going to be working with this faculty on their research, so you want to see their synergies with what you hope to pursue, and further, make sure that you want to pursue, but it's also someone that you would hope to have as a mentor. Everyone, both undergraduate and graduate students, should remember nothing works the first time. Don't be afraid to start over. Be honest, concrete, and specific. So I always say, make sure when you're writing your essays, no matter the structure, with an introduction, 3 body paragraphs in most cases, there'll be 3 different topics in relation to the question or examples, and a conclusion. But always make sure that it is clear and concise. It's interesting, but not wavering and talking too much. Be honest and concrete and specific, as I said, and get other people to read drafts, but also at the same time, don't have them change it so much that your authentic voice is lost. Some resources for undergraduate applicants. From the College Board, you can click on that site. So you could go to collegeboard.com/student/apply/essay skills. There's also one from Carleton EDU with regards to, so Carleton is an institution in the US that has offered tips on their website. My personal favorite, and you will see this in the folder on the Google Drive, is with regards to the College Essay Guy. He offers quite a number of free resources that one can look at and pursue. And further to that, you would be able to, in conjunction with that, take his free 1-hour course, if you want to call it, for essay writing. Another item to look at would be for graduates, would be some of the presentations that I have put within that folder too. Specific websites that you could look at: Yale University Advice to Students, personal statements online as well is great. These are some great resources that can really give you some indication as to what to expect. Okay. Of course, resources for everybody. I would highly encourage you to visit the Education USA Center near you. There's plenty of books that would be available to you that you could potentially pursue. I believe the Johannesburg Consulate has copies of the College Essay Guides, College Essay Essentials, as well as a number of resources available to graduate students. So that's just something to be aware of. Don't be afraid to check out the educationusa.state.gov website. There is quite a lot available. And if I'm not mistaken, about 1 year ago, Education USA Interactive did a presentation specifically on admission essays. So if you go to the YouTube channel, so youtube.com/educationusa, you'll look at Education USA's global site with recorded videos and webinars. And they have quite an interactive and great piece that you could look at with regards to essay writing. Okay, that's essentially it with regards to essay writing. What I would like to say is thank you for joining us today. And I know today was a little bit shorter and sweeter, but I think with regards to what is available, you should be able to get a lot of the resources as part of the Google Drive. So just something to be aware of. Yeah, and I don't know if there's anybody in the audience, but if you would like to put in a question, please feel free to type it in now. I think that will be of help to you. I'll give you a minute. So I know a typical question that tends to come up is how early you should start. But I don't think it's ever too early. As soon as you have a question available, the essay questions or the statement of purpose questions available, you should start, because you will need to write and rewrite and edit, and in some cases start over and get inputs from others. So don't throw something together at the last minute. Your essay will reflect the amount of time you've put into it. So I think it's important to be aware of that. Okay. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions. I'm not actually sure if there's any other participants. I'm not sure if everybody was aware of the time. I might have to send a reminder out for next week's presentation. Yeah, so what I would like to say from an undergraduate essay point of view is make sure that what you're putting in the essay cannot be found in other parts of your application, because it's really an opportunity for you to let them know of something outside of what's already been discussed. So you need to, really make sure you're telling them about yourself, but not just telling them, but actually showing examples of, how you feel or have pursued a certain aspect of your topic. Okay. Remember, it's not a book report when it comes to, at least from an undergraduate essay point of view, or, you need to research your research paper. It's more about how it affects you. Okay. I just wanted to go back as to why I say you should empathize with the reader. Before you begin, you need to keep in mind who's writing the essay and who will read it. So American, so be careful not to use terminology or acronyms that he or she may not be familiar with. When I say educated, so you don't need to overly simplify your information, especially with regards to graduate applicants. And as I said, they're tired of reading essays, so so keep yours concise, to the point, and crisp, with no unnecessary words or rambling thoughts. Your ability to be exact will be appreciated, believe me. Okay. I hope I've answered all of the questions that I can think of. But if you're ever unsure, do not be afraid to email me or any of the Education USA advisors to find out some more information about length of essays or understanding a certain topic question a little bit better or understanding resources that have been provided. So thank you for joining today as part of this webinar. I'm going to say thank you for watching the recording. I hope it has been okay. I'm not sure with internet connection. And so that's why I'm a little bit worried as to who may be part or not part of it. Further to that, I would just send a reminder that the next presentation is on actually completing your application, and that will be on Wednesday, the 13th of November, which is next week at 3 p.m. So I will send a reminder out to everybody. But again, thank you for joining us today, and hopefully we'll speak to you soon. Right. Thank you and goodbye.